Hi, this is Brendan Davis from the Bedrock blog and Bedrock Games, and today I'm going to talk about a couple of movies that helped inspire Wandering Heroes of Ogregate. I am going to be a little bit brief because I'm doing two movies, and I don't want to get sort of mired in trying to go into detail with them. I have done reviews of them in the past, so I'll link to those reviews, which will contain overviews of the plots and summaries of my thoughts on them. These are two movies that I really like. The first one is One-Armed Swordsman. It's a 1967 Shaw Brothers release. It stars Jimmy Wang Yu, and it was directed by Chang Che. The other movie is Golden Swallow, also directed by Chang Che and also starring Jimmy Wang Yu. So that's why I chose them. I think that they're very complementary, and they also influenced Ogregate in very similar ways. So the first movie, One-Armed Swordsman, is my favorite. That's a film that I've seen many times, and I will view many times, I'm sure, before I die. It's and there aren't that many movies that I watch that much. There's like 2001, the One-Armed Swordsman, and a few others that I just will keep watching on a regular basis. And I think part of it is because it's one of the best films ever made, in my opinion. And it's one of Chang Che's earlier films, but right away you can see that this is a very talented director. And he's kind of famous for his for painting the screen in blood and doing it in a way that's almost like poetry. So if you like the sort of not glamorous, but if you like the sort of dramatic and artistic way violence and blood is used in wuxia, then Chang Che is definitely a good director to check out. He does tend to prefer male characters, so the female characters often aren't as important in his movies. But he's such a good director that you don't really care about that too much, and also I think with him, and again, I'm no film history expert or anything like that, but I think in wuxia, it's kind of like dance or any of these things where there's a difference with the fight choreography between sort of the female form and the male form, and I think Chang Che just preferred the male form, and so that's why he features the male leads in the way he does. And I'm sure people have written about that and commented on that and can discuss it at length better than me. But that's clearly where his interest lies in terms of the visuals in the movies. One-Armed Swordsman. Well, number one, I ages ago I did an Oriental Adventures campaign that was just based all on One-Armed Swordsman, and it was beautiful, and it worked. It worked really well, and so I don't know. I think any movie that can sort of that has that effect on me usually kind of has a lasting impact. When we were working on Ogregate, there were two elements from both these movies that really I wanted to get across. And so the first was the violence. I mean, both of these are very violent movies. I think One-Armed Swordsman is maybe a little more restrained. It's not the most violent wuxia film by any stretch, but it does use blood in a very sort of tantalizing way on screen. The Golden Swallow film, on the other hand, is it's an older film, so it's 1968, so do keep that in mind. But for that year, I think it's an intensely violent movie. And the ending of Golden Swallow is this crucifixion of Jimmy Wang Yu's character in a great final showdown, where he sort of is proven to be the supreme swordsman in the land by just defeating a massive number of guys. And in the process, he gets stabbed. Like, he's got 4 swords sticking out of him. He's got arrows in him. He's getting, he's anything you can imagine. He's being hit with it in the course of this battle, and he's just covered in blood. And by the end, he's standing over a mass of bodies on a precipice. He's He's sort of got his arms stretched out. It's very dramatic, and that's what he sort of announces his supremacy in the martial world. So it's a I don't know. There's sort of the in the martial arts, there's this concept of perseverance and I don't know. Maybe you could call it stubbornness too. And his character in Golden Swallow is just the most stubborn guy in the world. So there's a lot of that spirit I tried to convey in the Wandering Heroes of Ogregate game. Another aspect of the movies, particularly One Armed Swordsman, maybe less so with Golden Swallow, was grudges. From the beginning of the movie to the end, it's grudges that kind of carry the plot line forward, and so. And there's also sort of this theme. It's kind of something that was a little bit similar in say The Godfather, where you just couldn't extract yourself from this martial world. The one-armed swordsman, after he's wounded, he tries to remove himself from the martial world and retire, and he just can't. Circumstances and existing grudges pull him back in. So and again, I apologize if there's a sound going on in the background, but it's Sunday and I think somebody's doing some lawn work, so and I don't think that's going to end anytime soon. So I don't think I can really, I don't think I can pick a different time of day to do the video and not have the blare of the weed whacker and lawnmower. So I apologize, and hopefully next time there won't be that sound. Also both of them have sort of interesting love stories to them. The first one, One Armed Swordsman, is I think kind of predominantly a love story. It's really about Jimmy Wang Yu's character and the woman who nurses him back to health, and their sort of retreat from the martial world and trying to build a life together. So it's definitely more on the it's got some more romantic elements than Golden Swallow does. Now, Golden Swallow is also based around a love theme. The Jimmy Wang Yu's character Silver Rock is in love with Cheng Pei-Pei's character Golden Swallow, and part of the thing that drives the plot forward is he's trying to get her attention by killing bad guys and letting people think that she did it, so they so that they kind of come after her, really, and then it's a very involved plot. I go into detail with it in the blog. I don't want to get sidetracked here dealing with it, but it's interesting. Some aspects of that movie that I really like. Number one are the it features a number of tea houses, brothels, and inns and things like that. And there's a lot of sort of, I guess I'd call them sword and poetry scenes. So, the Silver Rock character spends a lot of his time drinking and ruminating on his heartache. And so it's just, I don't know, I think it's very surreal the way they do it, and very very interesting. It's definitely a theme of the genre. It's something that this movie does particularly well. One thing that when I first saw Golden Swallow, I was a little bit disappointed because it is a sequel to Come Drink With Me, and it's you go in sort of expecting that it's going to be a full movie about Cheng Pei-Pei's Golden Swallow character, who's he's an incredible character and really really interesting in the first movie, and in this one she's kind of almost like the opposite personality of what she was in the first movie. So I think a lot of people who saw it for that reason were initially disappointed, but Chang Cheh is such a great director, you don't mind the shift in focus to Jimmy Wang Yu's character. You have to think of it really as a different movie. It is a sequel, but I think it's a very loose sequel to Come Drink With Me. If Come Drink With Me were to be a sequel that really focused on the Golden Swallow character, I think it would have been very different. And it would have been a different movie, and who knows, maybe it wouldn't have been as good as this, because this is a classic movie. And I think one of the other interesting things about these is they both are the same director, same actor, but the main character's swordplay is so different. And now part of that is he's got one arm in the first one, so just out of necessity, it's going to be a very different movie. but in the in the first one, in One Armed Swordsman, the action, I would say it's very hard in style. It's very sort of choppy, and I mean it's got an elegance to it, but there's power behind Jimmy Wang Yu's fight choreography and the way he wields the sword, and the way that they have him fight in Golden Swallow is very elegant. It's almost it's almost more dance like. It seems to be more circular to me, and more airy. Even the way he's dressed, he's much more sort of ethereal than he is in the One Armed Swordsman. And so I think it's a very interesting contrast, given that it's the same director and the same actor. And Jimmy Wang Yu is perfect for that kind of stuff. He's really light, and it really works. It's the kind of movie where he's just sort of floating through combat and slicing up guys, and I don't know. I love that kind of stuff. So I think and it's just and again, just the whole sort of bloodshed is a kind of painting canvas. It just the movie works, and so like I said, when we did the art for Ogre Gate, that's one of the things we were trying to emulate, was that feel. And in terms of the setting, with the the feuding sects and the grudges, that's definitely something that we were going for. And I think of note, we have a character named One Armed Fiery Demon, who's a woman whose arm got cut off, and she she's basically a one-armed swordsman. And I mean, that's a nod to One Armed Swordsman, and the mechanics that support a character like that in the game are all because I was thinking, I gotta, if you want to do a One Armed Swordsman type character, it's got to be in this, that's like a must for the game. So it's it's in the mechanics, it's in the setting. I think it's in a lot of stuff. There's a piece of art in the I forget where we placed it in the book now, but there's a piece of art that is basically an homage to the final scene in Golden Swallow, and it's obvious when you see it. To me, that's one of the best fight scenes ever made, and I think that it's just it's something that we had to sort of nod to in the book. So anyways, those are the 2 movies I wanted to discuss today. It's a little early here, so I'm a bit groggy. I apologize, and the lawnmower and whatever that is. So next time I will probably talk about a later movie, maybe something from the 90s, with some more of this sort of stylized editing and stuff like that. I really like 90s wuxia, so I definitely want to talk about some examples of it. And in between, I may do something that's more directly related to role-playing games specifically, rather than sort of a discussion of movies and role-playing games. So if you have any comments or thoughts, feel free to put them in the section below. I'll probably say this at the end of many of these videos, but I'm not going to debate people in the comments simply because I want folks to feel comfortable enough to disagree with me, or if I got a name wrong, to say I suck and and correct me. In which case, I will make a note below the video to correct myself. But if you disagree with me, or you whatever, just feel free. I'm not going to be bothered by it, and I'll just leave your comment standing. If I can compliment a comment or an observation, I will, but I'm not going to do anything to antagonize anybody in the comments. So, all right, I will hopefully have another video up tomorrow. It's a possibility I won't, because I have to do some stuff for Ogre Gate and for the Ogre Gate follow-up book, and so I don't know if I'll have a sufficient amount of time. But if I do, I will certainly try to get a video up, and I might not have the beard next time. I'm certainly I'm definitely going to be shaving it soon, and I don't know when, but probably in the next few days. So don't be surprised if I have no beard. All right, so have a good day. I will talk to you later.